What's up, O'Brien Army? First of all, Happy New Year's, everybody, because tonight is New Year's Eve in about 4.5 to 5 hours. So I'm going to be staying up all night to do those party poppers. That party popper thing I have. I'm going to blow that at midnight. So this time I logged on so that I can tell you all about my experience through Hurricane Irene. So, we all know that Hurricane Irene hit the east coast of the United States in 2011. Well, I lived through Hurricane Irene. I lived in a crappy trailer home in Spring Lake, North Carolina. In August of 2011, the unimaginable happened. One night, me, my mom, and I think both of my brothers, but it could have been just one of my brothers, were getting ready for bed. And we had heard on the news about Hurricane Irene climbing up the East Coast. So we were all prepared. Don't worry, we were prepared. Now, we didn't really get the hurricane part of the hurricane. We just got really bad rain in Spring Lake. So, I heard Raleigh got battered, but Spring Lake was just okay. Somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. Raleigh is so far away from Fayetteville, though. Spring Lake was close to Fayetteville. So, we were in a crappy trailer park in Spring Lake, North Carolina, and we went through Hurricane Irene during the night. The rain and the wind were really bad. I was probably 9 years old at the time. The wind and the rain was really bad, and the house kept shaking as if it was in an earthquake, only it lasted for hours. And then eventually, all the electricity in the house went out. Thank God we didn't lose our house. However, I was actually scared. I'll admit that. I was actually scared. Because I didn't expect a storm of that magnitude. Anyway, I was with my mom in the living room because I didn't feel safe by myself. Believe it or not, I actually didn't. I don't know how my younger brother slept through it, but Hurricane Irene, I was awake most of the night, if not all night. It's just a night I'll never forget. I'll tell you that. I'm going to remember that for years to come, and I'm probably going to tell quite a few stories about it as my life goes on. And it's really scary to think about that, having a 9-year-old kid go through a hurricane. Now, Hurricane Irene was probably a Category 3 when it hit Harnett County. The Harnett County Sheriff's Department was probably out patrolling the streets that night. I'm not really sure, But if they were, then they're braver than I. I'm telling you that right now. They were braver than I was. Spring Lake actually got a small whiff of what Raleigh got. I heard Raleigh got battered, but Spring Lake only got a small whiff of it. We probably saw like falling trees, power outages, minor flooding. It probably wasn't that bad for us. And not to mention, we probably got our power back the next morning during the afternoon. Other people got it worse than us. I heard people on the coast had power outages for weeks. Our power was only out until the next day during the afternoon. So, now that it's 2024, that was 2011. So, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5 years. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 10 years. 21, 22, 23, 24. 14 years later. 14 years later. I'm looking back at this. I'm just remembering all the events that unfolded that night. I thought my whole house was going to come apart, but it didn't. My trailer house actually held out throughout the entire storm. I don't know how, but it did. And yes, I am staying up until midnight. At least until midnight. I want to blow that party popper I showed you. So, I hope this helps you all. And I'm sorry to those of the people that weren't as lucky as I was throughout Hurricane Irene. All I can say is better luck next time. But as for myself, I actually feel a lot stronger now. Knowing that I was able to survive a Category 3 hurricane in a trailer home when I was 9 years old. Although I know that it could have been much worse. But so far, Hurricane Irene was the only hurricane that I've ever witnessed. I've witnessed plenty of tornadoes, but Hurricane Irene was the only hurricane I witnessed. Now, Hurricane Irene was fierce. The thunder and lightning was horrendous. The wind was unimaginable. Like I said, my power went out and the house was shaking really bad like an earthquake. But the house actually held out throughout the entire storm. And I'm actually glad we didn't leave. Because that was our house. And we didn't have anywhere else to go. So I knew that if the hurricane tore our house apart, we were going to be screwed with nowhere to live. But it held out. And that's going to be all for this video. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and click the bell notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.